Today is Friday and we're talking movies. Now, 2024 has been a disastrous year for the Hindi film industry so far. There have been two huge flops, Maidan and Bade Miyan Chote Miyan. They made just about 700 crore. In fact, that all the movies put together this year have made just about 700 crores. But then come the trailers of Pushpa 2 and Kalki 2989. There's buzz and there's excitement among cinegoers. And unless these films are really badly made, they promise to be monster hits. And not just these two films. There's Devara, there's Game Changer, Thug Life, Indian 2, Papanasam. There's a literal assembly line of South Indian films. They're all set to release this year. And can Allu Arjun, Prabhas, NTR Jr, Charan, Kamal Haasan and Suriya rescue Indian cinema? And joining me to discuss this is my colleague Krishnakumar K. He's an encyclopedia in Indian cinema. But first, Krishna, before we start talking, we have to watch the trailer of Kalki. Can we watch this new trailer that's just dropped a few days ago?
Hi. I'm Raya. Nee parenti? Neeto ఏ భాషలో మాట్లాడాలి? జనరేషన్ గ్యాప్ అనుకుంటా. సెమ్మయ్య ఫైట్ పన్నింగ్ ఏమన్నా రేడర్స్ షూట్ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. మరి నువ్వు చనిపోలేవా? ఇది ఒక టెంపుల్ ఆను. By any chance तुम भगवान हो?
अब मेरा समय आ गया है. मेरे अंतिम युद्ध का समय आ गया है.
అసలు ఎవరు నువ్వు?
द्वापर युग से दशावतार की प्रतीक्षा कर द्रोणाचार्य का पुत्र अश्वत्थामा.
Hey Ashwa uncle, wait for me.
Comments, Krishna?
Fascinating. And look at, it's a casting, I mean, the biggest cliche you can use for this is a casting coup.
Right.
To get Amitabh Bachchan
Yeah.
and Kamal Haasan and of course Prabhas together in a movie that's also going to feature Deepika Padukone.
Right.
I mean, it's mouth-watering to say the least. Can't wait and look at the production values or
Yes.
something like that. It's like when you say world class,
Yes.
that is a world class trailer. If they said that was a trailer or a teaser for a Hollywood film, you wouldn't have batted an eyelid and said that, yeah, I believe that. But it's amazing to see that, you know, some of these films are right now, you can't tell the difference between what is made in India and what is made outside of India.
Absolutely. And the filmmakers, Krishna, they gave a statement of intent last year where they launched it at Comic-Con.
Yes.
And we were zapped because I don't think there's ever been an Indian film, science fiction films are unheard of in India.
Yeah.
An Indian sci-fi film premiering its trailer in Comic-Con.
Yeah, right. And in fact, you had the cast of Kalki 29, Kalki over there,
Yes.
you know, promoting it in flesh and blood themselves. That was, as you're rightly pointing out, a huge statement of intent to do that. And it's simply because they know now that, you know, Indians walking up to the theatre to watch a sci-fi film are going to demand no less than what they see in a Hollywood movie.
Absolutely,
There can't
a
be any
Blade Runner or a
compromises.
Lord of the Rings, and you're paying the same ticket prices
Exactly.
for an English film and a Hindi film and a South Indian film. So really, you know, that the interesting phenomenon here, as we've been discussing this here at News9 over the years, is the fact that how you're actually witnessing the birth of a pan-Indian cinema blockbuster, which is not Tamil or Telugu or Hindi, or it's language agnostic, because the maker has to kind of recover his huge investments that he's put into the film.
True, except that one would have expected Hindi to do that, considering it's the largest spoken language. And now you have these languages spoken in individual states who are going all out to make that pan-Indian film.
Absolutely.
What is left to be seen is when will the Hindi film industry, you know, return the favor and make a film that is meant for both Hindi-speaking people's sensibilities and South Indian sensibilities.
Why isn't that happening, Krishna? I mean, since you look at movies so closely, why has this never happened? We've only seen, you know, Bahubalis and the RRRs all come from the south.
Yeah. It's simple. One is that they always say this, right? The South Indian film industry is very efficient. They shoot movies faster. They don't waste time. Why? Because their margin for error is very limited. For a Tamil film, to work with those budgets. You
Yes.
have to be quick at shooting it. You have to have a really good screenplay. You have to have a really tight editing. It has to be very entertaining and appease the audience of Tamil Nadu first, and then recover the money. So the margin for error is very limited. It was always
Right.
very limited. So
Right.
they've always been at it to
Yes.
produce most efficient and most effective work. Whereas Hindi had the advantage, a very average Hindi film,
Yes.
because it releases to such a big audience,
Right.
it has to be just even below average, and it will
Right.
easily recover the costs and make more money also required.
Oh, so it's like you're saying that it's got Hindi cinema has got a Nepo child kind of attitude, right? The star kid who's born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and
Because of the language advantage, it's really
Yes.
simple. You can't mess around with the numbers. More
Right.
people speak Hindi in this country than any other language.
Yes.
Hindi is a go-between language between so many languages as well. So automatically you open to a huge audience.
Right.
Same with English movies. So many
Right.
bad English Hollywood movies
Yes.
tend to recover their costs and make more money,
Right.
simply because most people in this world speak the English
right,
language.
it's like the default setting in
Exactly.
in the world and in India. But
Yeah.
look at these movies, Krishna. I mean, they're gigantic.
Yeah.
Tell us your 5 favorite films to watch out for this year.
Now-
Top 5.
Before we do that, Sandeep, you're talking about how Hindi films haven't done well.
Yeah.
But about first quarter for the year calendar
Yes.
year of 2024 is done.
It's a washout.
Yeah, unfortunately, even a good movie like Maidan,
Yes.
so witnessed a washout, which you have to give due credit to Hindi cinema that they
Right.
made a wonderful film. In fact, the director of the film is a guy who made Badhai Ho.
Right,
Is a
right.
debut National Award-winning director. Unfortunately, the movie didn't do well. It had A.R. Rahman giving music. But what has made money? Let's talk
Right.
about that so far.
Yes.
What has made money is mid-budget Hindi
Right.
movies, like a
Right.
Shaitan, starring
Right.
Ajay Devgan and R. Madhavan, which
Yes.
has done well, which has been one of the
Yes.
successes. Not a big success, but has
Right.
done reasonably well. And a movie like Crew, starring Kareena Kapoor and Kriti Saran and Tabu,
Right.
has done reasonably well.
Right.
But what has actually been the money spinner is the most unlikely candidate, and that is Malayalam cinema.
Yes.
A film like Manjumel Boys has
Right.
been a raving success, has been a raging success,
Yes.
highest earning Malayalam film ever. Then you had Goat Life or Aadu Jeevitham
Yes.
of Prithviraj Sukumaran, also releasing. Despite mixed reviews, it managed to do good. It had a great release across the country and
Right.
managed to make some money as well. So a lot of Malayalam films, not known for raking in the moolah,
Yes.
in this muted atmosphere, have ended up being the front runners when it comes to making money so far.
Right.
But that's the story so far this year, which is only 3 months down the line, 4 months
Yeah.
down the line. Yeah. Going forward, all the names that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Uh,
Really big budget
Big budget movies.
Right.
Indian 2 is
Yes.
a big budget movie. It's been in the making for so many years. It is directed by Shankar, starring Kamal Haasan,
Yes.
based on Indian or Hindustani as it was called in Hindi. So that's a huge
Right.
expectation riding on it.
Right.
You have another Shankar directorial called Game Changer,
Yes.
starring Ram Charan and Kiara Advani, also
Right.
coming out. That's a big budget Telugu film that's coming out. Indian 2
Right.
is fundamentally made in Tamil and then dubbed into other languages.
Yes.
So there's Indian 2, and then there is of course, how can anybody not talk about all of this without talking about Pushpa 2?
Absolutely.
That trailer.
The monster waiting offshore, just
Yeah.
lurking out there. And,
Yeah.
and as the industry lore is suggesting that the counting for Pushpa begins at 1,000 crore. I mean, that's all hype, I know. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
made
okay.
a lot of money pre-release.
But if Pushpa doesn't have hype, Sandeep, what other film can have hype in these recent times? So we'll keep the hype. Right? Good that
Yes.
you tempered the argument saying that's hype, but then Pushpa 2 expectations, huge expectations riding on it to be a huge money spinner,
Right.
because the base has been set with Pushpa. Like for example, KGF 2 became a big
Yes.
success because the base was set with KGF
With
1.
KGF 1, the expectations were there. It had a
Yeah.
committed, loyal audience.
So that is very important. And then there's another Tamil film called Kanguva,
Yes.
starring Suriya. Incidentally, it has Bobby Deol as playing the antagonist. Bobby Deol has found recent fame
Right,
with
with
Animal
Animal.
now in making his Tamil debut as a
Right.
antagonist in Kanguva. Again, another big budget mythological film. So that is one thing to watch out for. There is Devara starring
Devara, of
NTR
course.
Jr., which
Right.
has Janvi Kapoor making her Telugu debut as well. So
Right.
as you're rightly pointing out, it's not just pan-India in terms of marketing and releasing the movies. It's pan-India
Yes.
in terms of the cast of these movies as well.
Absolutely. You're getting Sanjay Dutt. I mean, I saw him in Leo recently. I was
Yeah.
surprised. I mean, the kind of,
And Sanjay
appearance
Dutt
that
is
he put
doing
in
the
over
rounds
there.
across South Indian languages.
Yes.
He's doing everything from Kannada to Tamil to Telugu.
That's right.
Across the board. Only Malayalam is left for Sanjay Dutt to tick off, to be really
Right.
honest.
So I'm sure there's a Malayalam film director who's watching this and he's got some ideas there. But,
Why not? Why not be fun? Imagine watching Fahad Fazil and Sanjay Dutt together in one
yeah,
image.
that'd be a movie indeed. But Krishna, we just before this show we were talking about how inconsistent Bollywood's performance has been in the last couple of years. It's like 2019 was a high point, and then of course 2020 and 21 wash out because of the pandemic. 2022 a disastrous year. 23 picks up great films coming out. You have Animal, you have Jawan, and you have Pathan. I mean, blockbuster, the most successful year in Bollywood. And then 22, it's a desert. There's literally nothing out there. There are no Hindi movies coming out there. What explains this?
Look at the films that you mentioned. The Jawan and Animal. Animal made by a Telugu filmmaker.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Jawan made by a Tamil filmmaker.
Atlee.
So the only pure Bollywood hit, if you ask me, in that in the last year was Pathan, which was made by YRF, directed by a Bollywood filmmaker, featuring all Bollywood actors and everything. The music directors were Bollywood music directors. The cinematographer was a Bollywood cinematographer. Everything was Bollywood. Bollywood. So the true genuine hit. But then again, a lot of people say all the controversy surrounding it was able to enable Pathan to be a bigger hit than what it deserved to be. But even Pathan was upstaged by a Jawan eventually. Yes. So it is really clear that there has to be greater, how do I put it, harnessing of the potential of the South and the knowledge that they have about keeping their finger on the pulse of the audience. Because in the South, it's not an option.
Yes.
You don't have your finger on the pulse of the audience. Your movie is going to drop down on day one, and you will make huge losses.
Yes.
There is no margin for error. First of all, say for example, if you're making a Tamil film and it fails in the Tamil box office, nobody in Andhra or in the Telugu audiences will even bother touching it. So, even for it to be a pan-South hit, you need to be a hit first in the language you're making it. So, which means that they're constantly updated with what are the social media trends, what are people watching, what are people feeling, what are people thinking. Hindi cinema is catching up with that game, but it's got a long way to go, because it is not just about checking out the trends and just copying those trends. It's also about innately knowing where your audience is at mentally, emotionally, and what are they thinking. This comes organically for South Indian filmmakers.
Absolutely, very, very interesting point that you actually nailed the DNA of the South Indian industry. The fact that it's got its finger on the pulse and it's a survival tactic for them. If they don't, they're finished, and that's a luxury that Bollywood strangely doesn't seem to enjoy. The Hindi cinema industry, they seem to take it a little easy.
Also because they have another gift, which is that you can make these multiplex movies meant only for the Hindi-speaking audiences in all the big cities. Plan your investment, sell it, and then release it overseas to NRIs as well, and then make your money. There are different ways you can segment the Hindi audience and make. You don't have to make the single-screen movies like only a Salman Khan or a Sunny Deol. Like people who watch Gadar are not watching, in a
media play, in a multiplex.
Not watching multiplex type of movies. So you have that segmentation as well. But of course, the real big moolah is when your movie is a hit in the multiplex, it is a hit in the single screens, it is a hit in the big cities, it is a hit in small towns.
Pan-India hit, and thanks very much Krishna there for summing it up for us, what the South brings to the table when it comes to blockbuster cinema. Nobody does it better than South Indian cinema, and 2024 is going to be no exception to the rule. Thanks for watching.